My name is Alicia Brown, I'm 35 years old, and before I tell you what happened in that courtroom, I need you to take a moment, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and comment where you're watching from, because stories like mine are real, painful, and happening to women everywhere in America. I never imagined my life would turn into a custody battle nightmare, but on what felt like the darkest chapter of my existence, I sat inside a cold courthouse in Chicago watching my husband, Marcus Brown, demand full custody of our son, Noah, as if I were nothing more than a stranger who failed him. But to understand how everything exploded, you need to know who I was before the lies, before the lawyers, before my child was forced to grow up too fast. I used to believe I had a good marriage, a stable home, and a husband who respected me. Marcus worked in corporate sales, always dressed sharp, always smiling in public, the kind of man people admired. I quit my job as a dental assistant after Noah was born because Marcus insisted it was best, promising to take care of us financially. For years, I centered my life around being a mother, waking up early, packing lunches, helping with homework, and making sure my son felt safe and loved. But behind closed doors, Marcus slowly changed. He became distant, controlling, and cruel in subtle ways that were easy to excuse until it was too late. He criticized how I cooked, how I spoke, how I parented, all while reminding me that he paid for everything. I told myself it was stress, that marriages go through phases, but I didn't realize he was documenting everything, collecting pieces of a story designed to destroy me. What I didn't know back then was that my son, only 11 years old, was watching, listening, and quietly recording truths that would later shake a courtroom to its core. Before Marcus filed for custody, the cracks in our marriage had already turned into fractures, but I stayed because I believed protecting my son meant keeping the family together. And once again, before I continue, if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, because this story only gets deeper, darker, and more unbelievable as it goes on. Marcus began coming home later, smelling like expensive cologne I never bought, carrying an energy that made the house feel tense and unsafe. He stopped talking to me unless it was to criticize or command. Every disagreement ended with him reminding me that I had no income, no savings, and nowhere to go. Slowly, he isolated me from friends and family, calling them distractions, convincing me I was lucky to have him. What I didn't realize was that he had already decided to erase me from Noah's life. He began telling our son small lies, saying Mommy was forgetful, Mommy was emotional, Mommy needed help. At the same time, Marcus started being the fun parent, buying gifts, skipping school rules, undermining every decision I made. I could feel my authority slipping, my child's trust being quietly stolen, but I still didn't understand the endgame until the envelope arrived. A thick stack of legal papers accusing me of emotional instability, neglect, and financial irresponsibility. He wanted full custody, the house, and sole decision-making power, claiming I was unfit to raise my own child. My hands shook as I read every line, realizing the man I married was now my enemy, and the life I built was about to be put on trial. The courtroom felt colder than any place I had ever been, and as always, before I continue, take a second to like and subscribe because this story isn't just entertainment, it's a warning. Marcus sat confidently beside his lawyer, wearing the same charming smile he used on strangers, while I sat clutching my attorney's notes, praying the truth would matter more than appearances. His lawyer painted me as a depressed, unstable woman who couldn't manage basic responsibilities, showing photos of messy rooms taken on days I was sick, bank statements with charges I never made, and statements claiming I isolated Noah emotionally. Each accusation felt like a knife. Marcus never looked at me, not once. When it was his turn to speak, he told the judge he only wanted what was best for his son, that he feared for Noah's future if left in my care. I could barely breathe listening to him rewrite our life into a lie. My attorney tried to object, but the damage was being done. Then came the moment that broke me. Marcus requested that Noah speak, claiming even our son understood I wasn't capable. My heart shattered watching my child walk toward the stand, his small shoulders carrying a weight no child should ever bear. Noah stood there quietly, and before I tell you what happened next, make sure you're subscribed because what my son did next shocked everyone, including me. The judge asked Noah simple questions: how he felt at home, who he felt safer with. My son answered carefully, glancing at me, then at his father. The courtroom held its breath. Then Noah asked the judge if he could show something first. Marcus stiffened. His lawyer objected, but the judge allowed it. Noah pulled out an old tablet, the one Marcus thought was broken and thrown away. He pressed play. The audio filled the room. Marcus's voice, clear and undeniable, talking on the phone about how he was building a case to win custody by making me look crazy, about hiding money, staging photos, and using a psychologist friend to write reports. Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Marcus jumped to his feet, shouting that it was illegal, that it was taken out of context, but it was too late. The truth had been released, and it came from the person he never thought would betray him. As the recording continued, the judge's expression changed from neutral to furious, and before I continue, hit like if you believe the truth always finds a way out. The audio revealed Marcus bragging about draining our accounts, about how judges favor fathers with money, and how I would walk away with nothing. There was even laughter in his voice when he talked about manipulating Noah's emotions. I covered my mouth, tears streaming down my face, realizing my son had been carrying this secret alone for months. Noah explained how he recorded conversations when his dad spoke badly about me, how he kept everything hidden because he was scared but knew the truth mattered. The courtroom was silent except for the sound of the recording ending. Marcus's lawyer requested a recess, but the judge denied it. Instead, he asked Marcus directly if the recording was his voice. Marcus said nothing. That silence said everything. The judge ordered an immediate investigation, and before I continue, subscribe now because this story proves patience can save lives. Marcus's credibility collapsed instantly. The psychologist's report was questioned, the financial records reopened, and the staged evidence dismissed. The judge looked at me and apologized for what I had endured. He looked at Noah and thanked him for his courage. In that moment, I didn't feel victorious. I felt heartbroken that my child had been forced to become my protector. Marcus was escorted out of the courtroom, no longer the confident man he walked in as, but a liar exposed by his own son. I held Noah tightly, whispering that he should never have had to do that. He just hugged me and said, "I didn't want him to hurt you anymore." Weeks later, the final ruling was issued, and before I finish, make sure you're still here because this ending matters. I was granted full custody of Noah, with supervised visitation for Marcus pending further review. The court ordered financial restitution, freezing Marcus's accounts and returning what he stole. I started rebuilding my life slowly, finding work again, regaining my independence, and most importantly, healing with my son. Noah began therapy, and so did I. Our home became peaceful again. The fear lifted. The silence no longer hurt. Today, when I look back, I don't see myself as a victim, and before I go, subscribe and share this story so it can help someone else. I see myself as a survivor. I see my son not as a child who was broken, but as one who was brave beyond his years. If you're watching this and you feel trapped, unseen, or powerless, know this: the truth has a way of surviving, even when buried. Sometimes, it comes from the smallest voice in the room. Thank you for listening to my story. With love and respect, I'll see you in the next one.